Really great. So what I want to do is trying to find a very hands-on practical angle, if you guys are okay with it. And I think that at the end of it, we probably will be discussing some of the things that you've seen before, but I'm going to go through it, fairly quickly, just to give you a glimpse of how we see this. So maybe just go to the next one for me. So if you had to think of, the concept of music just by metaphor, it is the one thing that you can't trap in time. You can't say to somebody, I'm going to give you, a kilogram of music or a pound of music, and here it is. You can only really truly understand it or enjoy it if there's rhythm and beat, and there's something that is novel in the variation that happens in a particular time moment. And it only really makes sense if it is highly organized by having kind of rhythmic cycles, and that it's organized in a way that create a pleasant feeling, for the person who's listening to it, in the way that you would see it, maybe in your own mind's eye. If you had to visualize it, or the way that you would hear it, it becomes kind of completely experiential while time runs. So that means that if you had to think of the concept of music in relation to business, is that if you had to just start assessing the companies around you and how many businesses are fundamentally involved in something that can only be experienced while time is executing, you will see that telecommunication services and banking services and media companies and most of those organizations fundamentally only provide something valuable, while time runs. And then you have on the other side organizations like, motor car companies, or if you're going to buy, a physical computer or a tablet, that it is entirely devoid of time. You don't know when it was made, how it was made. So it's got a different property in how you look at it. So human aging is maybe just one way of looking at kind of time stretches by concept. So if you had to think of music, if you had to listen to a song that's going to carry on for, say, a year, or well, let's make it shorter. Let's say you're going to listen to a song that lasts for, one day. Maybe from the 70s, you can listen to some rock solos that might last for an hour or two. I mean, that would have been exciting, isn't it? In the modern world, they don't do that anymore. Now we're trying to find the shortest possible time to get the maximum amount of variation. So that means get the novelty out there as quickly as possible, so we can move on to the next one, because we now get this abundance of supply. But there are things like how the human engages with its environment that is changing at a certain pace. You're not gonna make it faster or slow it down. So in this kind of conceptual map, we're just trying to see, well, the relationship of a human's age in relation to, say, animals or a dog in the home. And that this arbitrary formula as to how we normally would calculate, divide a human's age by a certain number. But the relationship is not linear. So that means that, by concept, what happens as we age as humans and everything around us start changing, every single element of interactions, life cycle of change is different to our own. So that means that if you're an adult and you've got a child and you live in a certain home, you drive a certain car, you engage, with people at the restaurant up the road, whatever that might be, that means that the time that restaurant is going to be in business, the amount of time that you're going to have your motor vehicle, your life in relation to so that means that this fragmented view and the complexity of the relationships of different trajectories of time creates a dynamic, complex environment. So that means it's very difficult for anybody to form a generic theory of how they're going to be using time to analyze anything, because you got these very sporadic ways in which time really intersects with each other, or the different types of time. Now,